Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle Baxo, and I want to welcome you here tonight. Let's just, as we're getting started, I just want to make sure, in case you're not familiar with Zoom, a couple things so you know your way around. If you are logged in over the internet, then you have the most tools at your fingertips. So there should be a bar or a menu somewhere. I have you all automatically on mute. Just that way it's easier for everyone to be able to listen and hear. However, if you want to say anything, share anything, or ask any questions during this webinar, you're welcome to use the chat box. You just type whatever you want in there, and I'll be checking it periodically throughout the session. I think that's pretty much all you need to know about Zoom. And if you're dialed in by phone, then you won't see the visuals, but I'll be saying everything that you'd be seeing out loud anyway. So not a worry, not a concern or worry at all. Okay. So again, welcome. We're gonna just start diving right in. So let's just see here. So actually, before we go there, if in case you didn't see it in the email, one way you'll get the most value for yourself tonight is to have something to write with and something to write on. So if you have a journal, I would grab that. If not, no problem. I would say maybe 4 or 5 pieces of paper. Or if you have 1 piece of paper, write really, really tiny. Okay. And another way to participate to get the most value is to have as little distraction around you as possible. You know, I'm committed this next hour make a real difference for you in your life. And the way you do that is by giving yourself fully over to this next hour. So if you need to take a minute to, close a bedroom door or let people know you won't be available, maybe turn off your phone. If you've got other browsers, like your Facebook or something open, just, turn that off for now so that you can really give yourself fully to this next hour of your life and have it be a sacred time for you. Okay, so I also just want to make sure if you are going to spend this time that you're in the right place. So if as I go through this, you realize, oh gosh, this isn't me, no problem. You can just log off. We'll love you anyway, and we'll understand you just clicked onto the wrong webinar, okay? But you are in the right place if you're someone, you're a woman who's proud of who's the woman she's become. So what do I mean by that? You've developed yourself over time. You have life experience. You've been around the block once or twice, right? You're proud of the woman you've become, and you want to share it with somebody else. You're also in the right place if having a relationship something that is important to you, that you're striving for, but you also don't want to settle. So it's not like you want to be in just any relationship. So you don't want to settle, and you don't want to compromise yourself either. You're also someone who doesn't want to accept being single forever. There's many women who are single and love it, and they're not looking for companionship in a romantic sense. And if that's you, you should just click off. You go and thrive, thrive in the world, right? But then there's some of us where having that match, having that partner, having that someone is important to us. So if that's you, you are in the right place. And you may also be noticing lately that there's a pattern, sort of different versions of the same things showing up around you, and you're ready for a change in that. So just check it out if any of this sounds familiar to you. Okay, so some of your thoughts may be a little bit like, I'm afraid that what I want doesn't actually exist. Like, what if these things that I really want that would really make me happy, what if it doesn't exist? Or even worse, what if it's not available to me? What if that's only something other people can get, not me? Or maybe you're thinking to yourself, I just don't want to lose, I don't want to lose myself, and I don't want to end up alone either. We're just so that people's videos don't pop up here. There we go. I don't want to end up alone either. And you might be someone who's been attracting the wrong men. Like, you're attracting men, but they're not the ones that you want to build a life with. Or it might be, so for some women, it's both. You may be attracted to the wrong men. So you're out there, you're attracted, you're drawn to these men, but they're, again, not the men that you would want to build a life with, or you know that it's never going to work, or they're not interested in you. So either way, it's like banging your head against the wall. And I want you to know that I can relate. Okay. So I'm not one of those women that, has always had it easy in the dating world. And here I am telling you that I was born with these secrets and, I'm going to sprinkle it all, those good vibes on you. No, I was someone who I really, no kidding, actually thought that I was going to marry two different men in my 20s, and both really didn't turn out. And to be honest, I'm glad they didn't turn out. They weren't really my match. But what happened after that was 6 years of, well, it felt like banging my head against the wall, of trying everything, of being frustrated and seeing all of the people around me, whether they're getting married or not, but a lot of people finding their match or being really settled and content, like settled on the inside, not settling, like all these people that were either really content with being on their own or starting to be really happy being with others. And here I was neither. So 6 years of that, I can relate, and I'll share with you my story and why I now do what I do. But I just wanted to make sure you didn't think I was like, I don't know, someone totally unrelatable here. You'll get that I can relate, okay? But during this time together, here's what we're going to talk about here. So you're going to learn about allowing the right person to find you. You're going to learn about deepening your relationship with you, because that's critical. And also having fun dating. So some of you may already be having fun dating. Some of you might not be dating at all. And some of you might be like I was, which was I went on dates, but I hated it. It felt like a waste of my time. I was working 70 hours a week. So the last thing I wanted to do on my one day off was to go make small talk with somebody I probably wasn't ever going to see again. Just like wasn't the way I wanted to spend my day off. So I definitely wanted to put in here some, hot tips to have your dating life be fun, like really fun. And also we're going to cover allowing for deep, intimate love in your life. And at the end, there's a knock your socks off free gift available to you. So what's my promise overall is that we go over the 6 leaps to go from someday, like someday, this will happen maybe someday, to a steamy reality. Now, I also want you to know there's nothing for sale during this webinar. So, there are other webinars where it's all leading up to a sale. And sometimes I lead webinars where it's about a product I'm selling. That's not what this is. Okay. So this really is designed for you to get a tremendous amount of value. And if you want to reach out to me and ask what other things I do, you're always welcome to do that. It's just not what this is about today. And I do recommend you stay till the end, because there's a really incredible free opportunity for you at the end. So let's just sort of regroup here a little bit. As you can imagine, I do quite a bit of research on this topic, given what I do. And I want you to know that there is a large number, almost epidemic level, of women, smart women, like independent, strong, emotionally mature. And that, I say emotionally mature, referring to those of us who, we've worked on ourselves. We know ourselves pretty well. We develop who we are. We develop our character. We've done some of that work already. So smart, independent, and emotionally mature women, there is a lot of them who are frustrated by the caliber of men who are out there and available. These women, they want to be with someone who has similar values, someone who doesn't necessarily have the same passion as her. They don't have to both be in love with the same things, but they want to be with someone with that kind of passion and drive in something, right? They want to be with someone who's mentally stimulating, actually interesting to be with, and can keep her on her toes. But here's what comes up for these women a lot. It sounds something like, but I've tried everything. I've done the online dating thing. I put myself out there. I keep putting myself out there. Nothing's making a difference, right? Or the someday phenomenon, okay? So someday, like, Well, right now it's spring. It's really busy. I think the summer will be a really good time to, I'm going to get in shape. And then in the summer, I'm going to start, you know, putting an emphasis on my love life. Right. And then the summer comes and it's, oh gosh, you know what? I'm going away a bunch this summer and it seems like other people are going away. It's just not really a good time. I just want the summer to have fun. So in the fall is when I'm going to focus on my love life and really look to settle down with somebody. And then the fall comes, but you know it's busy. It's back to school time. Even though most of us aren't even in school anymore, but whatever. It's busy. So the winter, you know what, the winter's better because I'm usually bored in the winter anyway. I don't have a whole lot. I don't tend to go out as much. So that would be a really good time for me to date and put my love life as a priority. And then the winter comes and there's holidays and holiday parties at work and all these different things and families in town. So it's not a good time. It should be a New Year's resolution, right? New Year's comes and oh, goodness gracious, I feel disgusting. I just ate my face off for the last 2 months. There's no way I want to go and meet anybody right now. I should probably wait until the spring. So you get the picture, right? Very, 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 very common. So, another thing that I commonly hear with these women is maybe something's, gosh, maybe, and this is sort of usually like said quietly, maybe there's something wrong with me, or maybe there's something wrong with them, right? Like maybe there really is something wrong with them, those men, right? Or you could be like me. What I was convinced of was that there was something wrong with society. So it's society's problem that women have grown in this, have grown this way and aren't raising men to be a match for what women like us are looking for. I was so convinced of it, right? Or another thing that gets in the way and you hear a lot of is, well, this time I'm on the right track, which is sort of like uh, hope, but I don't mean hope in a good way. I mean hope like it's going to squash it actually happening, like the illusion of hope, right? So this time I'm on track. So it happens when, well, I went on a date this week, so I'm on the right track. Or no, I can just feel it. I'm finally starting to feel like I'm comfortable in my own skin. So it's just going to happen now, right? There's a lot of these illusions. Or now I finally opened my online dating account. So I'm on the right track, right? So all of these are illusions that get in the way for these women who really do want that person that they can share values with and, spend time with and book your vacation with and build a future with and create those down the line dreams with and have a blast with. So what these women don't know, well, there's a lot of things, but here's some really great ones that might even contribute to you, right? What they don't know is that online dating is not the answer, right? So sometimes that becomes well, once I start online dating, or now that I'm online dating, it's all going to turn out. And online, I'm not bashing online dating. There's a lot of advantages to doing that, but it's not the answer. And if you start asking around, there are a lot of people online dating that they're just online dating, not necessarily falling in love with any of these people. And what they don't know is that these women often can't see their perfect match. So even if a matchmaker put that perfect person right in front of you, they can't see them. They can see them. You can see a person, obviously, right? But they can't see that person's their perfect match. Also, when you look at attracting, these women don't realize that it's not gosh, how do I say this? They need to stop letting their inner teenager choose their men. So for instance, this might be you, or you hear some women say things like, I don't know what it is. I'm just always attracted to the bad boys, right? Or I seem to always be attracted to people I want to fix, right? Really common. If that's happening, you're letting some young version of you. It's not even you being attracted to these guys. It's automatic and it's just happening, right? So a lot of these women don't know how to stop that from happening. And also they don't know how to fully and authentically heal the pain that's been causing fear, insecurities, the walls that we put up, and those limiting beliefs. And they also don't know how to attract the right person quickly. And I say quickly because don't we want it quickly? We want quantity, but also, sorry, not quantity. We want quality, but we also want it quickly. And here's the good news. Okay. So I can tell you, because I'm the expert in this field, there are a lot of attractive, successful, and emotionally mature men all around. There's lots of them. There is no scarcity. And many women think they've done everything they can, but it's not true. Isn't that good news? I think so. Now, this is a moment where I'm going to really tell it to you straight. So if any of you already know me from, from another webinar, from any work you've done with me, I'm always going to tell it to you straight, even if you don't like what I'm about to say. And this may be one of those moments, okay? But the real issue is you have tunnel vision. Like literally, you may be someone who's really thinks they're open-minded and can see, really truly, but not in this area, maybe in other areas. But in this one, you have tunnel vision. And let's say I'm wrong. Let's say you don't. It doesn't matter because you're completely blocked anyway. You're not moving forward no matter what. And let's say I'm wrong about that. Maybe you're not blocked. You're going the wrong way. So it's 3 strikes against you. Now, that's why I'm doing this, because I want to start to now point you in another direction. And here's how we're going to do it. So these are the 6 leaps, and we're going to go over these in detail. So you don't have to worry about writing these down right now. But we're going to look at wanting more, be wrong, destroy all default, use your power for good, not evil, when no one's looking, and allow no alternative. And once you take those leaps, you'll begin to have access to that delicious relationship that not only meets your expectations, but exceeds your dreams. So let's get started. And as we do, I just want to tell you a little bit about me so that you can know why I'm so darn certain of myself here, okay? So like I said, my name's Michelle Baxo, and I'm a worldwide love coach. Now, what's a love coach? So you don't hear that very often. You're more likely to hear something called like a dating coach. Dating coaches, the emphasis is on dating, and that's a part of what I do. But the women I work with aren't really, their outcome they're looking for isn't a dating life. The outcome they're looking for is a love life. Like they want to find that person and fall in love. So while dating's a part of what I do, it's a part of the journey, right? Like a segment of it. Right, so I have a master's degree in counseling psychology and extensive experience as a psychotherapist in mind-body intuitive healing. And all my work is all results-based coaching and healing. So everything I do is looking at what's going to cause the result and cause it the most quickly. Now, I've worked with hundreds of women. Well, I've worked with men and women, right? My focus is more on women, but I have worked with men and women. But all of what I've always done has been to have people accomplish specific results in their life. But what I noticed was for a long time, I wasn't effective when it came to women creating their relationships. I did a lot of relationship coaching, but once they're already in a relationship, but not when it came to people actually creating one. And when I looked, are we surprised? Not really. It's no surprise at all because my love life was a mess. And, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but I was no spring chicken either, right? So at age 34, I made it my personal mission to figure out how women like me can fall in love and fall in love quickly. And not just with anybody, but with someone that, that we could really see ourselves building a life with. So I made myself the first guinea pig for selfish reasons, right? And, when I say this, it's almost hard for me to believe, but no kidding, after 6 years, 6 years of my love life being truly a mess, it only took 4 weeks and 4 different men for me to meet Tommy. And there he is right there. It's Tommy barbecuing for me like a champ. Right, here we are again. And, I've spoken with a lot of women, some who are in the relationship of their dreams, but many who are terribly frustrated, either in a relationship that they know they settled for, right? Afraid to get out of it because, what if there's not something better? Or the ones that won't do that, but are frustrated because they're single. And I work with clients, like what I do is I work with clients to take the right actions combined with the right mindset. So the two go together. The right actions with the right mindset allows for the sexiest, most delicious, fulfilling, stimulating, exciting relationship of these women's lives. So my mantra, and I invite you to, I don't know, make a t-shirt that says this and wear it every day so that you can bring it into your life. My mantra is to love yourself, love your life, and fall in love. No more of this 1 out of 3, or I know lots of you are doing 2 out of 3. I'm talking about a 3 for 3 kind of life. So what's the first leap? It's to want more. And look, I know we know this, right? We all know that more than 50% of marriages fail. So this has got to be about more than just landing a man. I know any of you could go walk over or drive over to the local grocery store and find somebody to go out with you. Of course you can, but you're not looking for someone, you're looking for the one. So you might be asking, can I have what I want? Well, yes, but it's got to start with wanting more. So this is the time to grab that paper and something to write with. And I want you to just start, you're going to start by looking at your basics. Okay, so these are the basic things you're looking for in your future partner. So there's some different categories, 6 different categories. So for those of you who are on the phone, the different categories are appearance, personality, lifestyle, values, love language, and anything else. So what are the basic things that you really need? Kind of like your basic needs in a mate. For me, a basic for me for appearance was, he didn't have to be drop dead gorgeous. I didn't even have to find him attractive when I first met him, but once we knew each other, it was important that I was attracted to him. Like that there was an attraction that got created between us as we got to know each other. It was also a basic for me that he's taller than me. Now I'll be sharing some of what mine are. Don't let that determine anything you want. You want what you want, okay? And you can write what you don't want. I personally find it more effective to focus on what it is you do want. So these are just the basics. What are the basics in personality or lifestyle? For me, for lifestyle, it was, a basic that he lived on his own. I wanted to be with someone who lived on his own. A grown woman, I want to go visit him and, for him to be at his own place. What are his values? Now, love language may or may not be something you're familiar with. That's taken from, there's a book, The 5 Love Languages. If you haven't read it, it's extraordinary. Write it down and, go check it out. But what I'm referring to there is what are your basics for how you want him to show you love? Right? For me, being affectionate, so physical touch is something that's important to me. I want to be able to, lean over while we're watching a movie, right? And it's also important that he's vocal about his love for me. So those are for me basics, and anything else. So now, if you haven't finished, it's okay. You can always go back. We're going to go through the same list, but this time it's your preferables. So what do you prefer? Right? What do you prefer for his appearance? So for me, I prefer someone with dark hair and dark features and strong arms. I love strong arms. Like it's not a deal breaker, but that's what I prefer. For lifestyle, that he owns his place. I prefer that he actually owns his place, not just lives alone, but, isn't a homeowner. And for love language, a preferable for me is that he's someone who holds my hand, and what's another one? Like is thoughtful. So does things for me just because he thought of it. That's a preferable for me. So again, for those of you who joined us over the phone, you're now looking at what do you prefer regarding his appearance, his personality, his lifestyle, his values, his love language, how he shows you love, or anything else. It was also something I preferred was someone who was involved in personal development, someone who is passionate about something. That was something that I preferred. Okay, we're going to move on. All right, next is my dream come true. Now, this one is often the most challenging for people, okay? So you want to, sort of stretch out your head because often we don't want to say we want things we're not so sure we can get, right? But I promise nothing bad can happen either way, right? So, you can want something and not get it. So what? Who cares, right? So really let yourself dream big here. So what's your dream come true regarding his appearance? Like, what would just be your dream come true? If you could pick any way that he looks, what does he look like? If there was certain characteristics to his personality, what would that be? Mine, I don't know how quite to put it to language, but I always had this vision of this extraordinary balance between being masculine and strong, like my rock, but also tender and loving and affectionate and, well communicative. Like I just had this perfect picture. You can have a lot of fun with lifestyle. Like maybe he has property in Europe, right? I don't know. Values, love language, like what's a dream come true? For me, it's never even been something I prefer. I would never even say I prefer someone that would bring me flowers and bring me gifts. It's just never been something that's that important to me. But in the world of dream come true, yeah, come on. How, like, as if I wouldn't love someone who thought of me and bought me flowers or wanted to do something for me just because, right? And anything else you can think of. One thing I want to share with the value of this exercise is, something that I had wanted, but then gave up on was, I used to say to myself, I would love to be with the kind of man who would do Tantra workshops with me. So if you're not familiar with Tantra, it's, my view of it is it's a combination of spirituality and intimacy. And I just thought, one of the things I want is to keep passion. Whenever I do meet my future mate, I want to keep the passion alive and I want it to stay fun and interesting and for us to be really connected. So I just thought, how amazing would it be if I met someone who would come to those Tantra workshops with me instead of me doing it on my own. And then for a long time, I said to myself, no, I can't. That's a tall order. I mean, most people don't even know what Tantra is. And, never mind, like, what are the chances, right? So I should probably take that off my list of things that I want. And it was so extraordinary when I started actually wanting, like, letting myself dream. Wouldn't you know, on my first date with Tommy, one of the things I found out, not only is he down for going to Tantra workshops with me, he's somewhat of an expert at it. Like he's done these intensive weekends. He's even volunteered and coached people through their tantric journeys. And if anything, he was, when I brought it up, he's actually was looking for someone who'd be willing to go to workshops with him. So really, let yourself dream here, ladies. And you might be now saying to yourself, Michelle, it's all fine and good to want these things, but I've wanted a lot of these things for a long time and it's made no difference. So we're going to go now to the second leap, which is you need to be willing to be wrong. Okay, you need to be willing to be wrong. And again, this might be one of those examples where some part of you might not like what I'm saying, but these are the keys to the kingdom here. Okay, so you need to be willing to be wrong about a lot of things. I'm going to tell you some of the places where you can look, okay, some places to look for where to be wrong, but you can continue to look for yourself. But here's some examples. How many good men there are left? You need to be willing to be wrong about what you think, and the number of good men that are left are, or what men think of you. Men may have said certain things about what they think of you, but that was those men. So you need to be willing to be wrong about this picture you may have painted in your mind about what men think of you or what men want, right? You also need to be willing to be wrong about how you'll know if someone's your match. I love sharing this. One of the things that I commonly did when I was on my, banging my head against the wall, trying to find the love of my life, I'd go on all these online dates and I would always be disappointed. And then, usually, the third or fourth disappointment, I would go home, open up my Facebook and go through every single name. So I go through every single name looking for anybody who's single, who there might be a shot that I would, or that I would consider could be a match for me. And I'd go through everyone and every time be no, 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 no. I guess I don't know anybody who I could possibly, be a match with. And Tommy actually was one of my Facebook friends, which means at some point I looked through his name and I went, nope. And I was so sure about it. So you need to be willing to be wrong. And I had to be willing to be wrong when he asked me out, because I actually was like, no, I'm pretty sure. No, I don't think so. Right? So you need to be willing to be wrong about how you'll know if someone's your match. And that you can't help who you're attracted to. Yes, you can. There is a way you can learn to change who you're attracted to so that you're attracted to someone that's actually a match for what you're looking for and what will make you happy. And you also need to be willing to be wrong about how long it takes to meet someone and how long it takes to fall in love. We often think it has to look a certain way, and it really doesn't. So now grab a new piece of paper or flip over to the other side. And I want you to write the answers to this question. Why are you still single? And write down all the answers you have to that question. All right, well, here's the thing. You can have results or you can have excuses, like those ones you just wrote down, but you can't have both. And who said it but the wise Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? And that man's produced some results in his life, that's for sure. So you can have results, you can have excuses, but you can't have both. So start learning how to be wrong. And consider, just even think to yourself now, what difference would that make? What if I was wrong about that? What if I let myself be wrong about that? All right, the third leap is to destroy all default. All right, grab another piece of paper or draw a line. And I want you to start writing down what are your habits in the area of your love life. So here's a few different places you can look, but you can create whatever habits you see, okay? So for example, how often do you go on a date with someone new? You could look at where do you find these men? Are you meeting? Are they all people from work? Are they all people from a certain dating site? Where are you finding these people to go out with? Or maybe you're not going out at all. Maybe you're doing other things like scrolling through Facebook, like I would do. Or maybe you're someone that always crushes on somebody, has that, I'm just is always, has all your attention on this one man or this one guy, and until it doesn't turn out, and then you're heartbroken, and then you find someone else, right? You might do Facebook creeping, or you might be someone who just talks about it a lot with their friends. So you want to look at what are the things that you are doing in the area of your love life. You can also look at what are your habits when it comes to being on a date? What are you like when you're on a date? Are you, doing all the talking? Are you really shy? Is there certain behaviors that are really common? Are you, trying to get it right all the time in your head? Are you trying to figure it out? Or are you, I don't know, you got to look for you. And you can also look at your habits for who are you attracted to? Are there any habits there? And now I want you to look at your list, okay? And check it out. Which ones should you keep? You might have some gems in there. So circle the ones that you should keep and then scratch out all the others. Don't overthink it. Just scratch it out. Probably just scratch it out. But some of them will be good. Keep the ones that are good. And now look, right? Again, this is a moment where you tell yourself the truth. Are those actions that you circled, are those enough? Are those enough actions for you to say, yep, I got this. No kidding. I'm in love in the next 6 months. We're going to be, talking about moving in together. And where do you need support? Because everybody's different, right? So where do you need support? Now, here's something that I invite everyone to take on in their life is to talk to people. And I mean all people, not just the ones that you think might be potential mates for you. Start talking to everybody in the elevator, at the gym, at the coffee shop, at work, okay, as you're walking somewhere, and be interested in their lives. And I'm talking like talk to the grannies, talk to the kids, talk to the gorgeous bodybuilder, talk to everyone, and you might be just surprised at what you discover. And have a look, right? I bet you we've been going through this, you've also been thinking about the kinds of things that you've been avoiding. And if you haven't been noticing that so far, start looking at that now. What have you been avoiding? What are some of those actions that you know to take that you haven't been taking? It's like trying to get around. Like maybe I can do this without having to deal with that part, right? So here's some possible new actions, and you can look to see if they'd make a difference, or maybe you're going to notice, oh, I've been avoiding that one. Right? So here's some possible ones. You can learn how to have others ask you out. You can ask people out. You can broadcast what you're looking for, like shouting from the rooftops, I'm looking for love, right? But really, like no kidding, without any shame at all, like share what it is that you're looking for and your intentions. You can work with an expert, and there's all kinds of different experts you could work with. It could be in the world of dating or in the world of love. Maybe the expert you want to work with is like a personal stylist or something towards your health, right? You could work with an expert to break through some of the barriers, the emotional barriers that you just haven't been dealing with. And I want you to go on dates with people, right? But go on dates with people you don't know people that you do know and you don't know, and call them dates. Don't call them hanging out or anything else. Actually have the intention be clear that it's a date. And another possible new action is to create some personal rules before you get serious with someone. So, something that's very important to me with anyone I work with is that you don't just fall in love, but that you stay true to who you are throughout that entire relationship. Because that, fundamentally is what will allow for it to be a lasting relationship. So, this is a good time to start looking at what are some really core parts to me, or what are the things I have in my life that I'm not going to compromise, that I have to make sure I don't compromise. And whatever the actions are that you see will make a difference, and this is easier said than done, but do it. Actually do those actions, especially the ones you don't want to do. So now what's the fourth leap? It's to use your power for good, not evil. And I love this quote, okay? And I want you to listen to this quote from the perspective of a relationship. It's usually not referring to a relationship. And for both who you are in the relationship and who the future love of your life is. And it's about power. Power isn't control at all. Power is strength. and giving that strength to others. A leader isn't someone who forces others to make them stronger. A leader is someone willing to give their strength to others that they may have the strength to stand on their own. So I invite you to start having your attention on having other people show up around you, that your power and your strength is actually causing others to be strong around you. Okay, so now close your eyes. You don't have to close your eyes, but I recommend closing your eyes. And I want you to imagine that you're on a date that you love. You love this date. And you and I both know it doesn't even matter what you're doing. You could be waiting at a bus stop, but you are on a date that you love. And I want you to feel it. What's it like for you? What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What's the experience like? And then look over at him. What's it like for him? What's his experience? What's he thinking? What's that look in his eye? Just let yourself dream a little here. Okay, now you can open your eyes because we want to now I actually want these dates to start being really fun for you. So those dates that you love, they're going to start by having them be fun. So first of all, the most effective rule I've ever seen is that you be 100% in charge of the date being fun. If you make it all your job, he doesn't even have to worry about making it fun. It's your job. I promise you'll have fun. Another way to do it is make sure you're talking to him, not yourself. Now, I know you're not someone who's like talking to themselves, but you are. You're talking to yourselves in your head, right? And if you find yourself talking to yourself you know what I mean, like actually being in your head versus out here with people, then you don't get to know him and he doesn't get to know you, and it's not fun for either of you. And another thing that you can do is be fascinated by your differences. Even if, listen, you might in 2 minutes be crystal clear he's not your match, but I still don't want this to be a wasted evening for you. So start being fascinated by everything that is different about you. Even if he says something offensive, like, oh, I can't believe he said that. You can go, whoa, you and I are so different. Like, tell me about the way you view this, because I would never have said something like that. Right? If you can leave judgment at home and bring fascination, it will never be a wasted evening for you. Now, I also want you to be a really great date. So there's an 80-20 rule, and that's 80% of the words coming out of your mouth are positive. And I know you can't have everything be positive, and we don't want you to be, Pollyanna all the time either, right? But it's really, critical or negative words, they carry a heavier weight in a conversation. Have you ever noticed that someone can compliment you, someone can call you beautiful 100 times, but one person calling you ugly stays with you forever? So that's why we have most of what comes out of your mouth be positive with a little bit of critique here and there. And that's in regards to how you talk to yourself, how you talk to him, or how you talk about yourself, pardon me. If you're talking about him or about society, about politics, about the food, all of it, right? No more than 20% in the negator area. Then there's a 60-40 rule, okay? So if you're, that's in the amount of conversation, who's really driving the conversation and contributing to it. So if you're a more shy person, a little more quiet, you must make sure that you're holding your weight at least 40% of the time. So, come prepped with some extra questions or whatever you need to do. You need to be doing at least 40% of the work to keep it going, 40% of the decision making, that you're a real active participant on the date. And if you're someone like me that can't shut up, then you need to make sure you pull back to at least 60% so that he has an opportunity to show up. And, it might take a little bit of patience, right? But that you must pull back so that he has the experience of showing up and being an active participant on the date as well. And then finally, I want you to own who you are. There's nothing that will leave you more disempowered than selling out on yourself on a date or in a conversation. So, one of the things for me is, as I mentioned, I work a lot of hours. But I love working. Working is a part of who I am. It's my passion as lived in life. I thrive when I'm working. I love it, right? But for a long time, I made excuses for it. And, what started allowing for, someone like Tommy to show up was when I started making no excuses for it. I'm like, this is who I am. So it's important. Own who you are and don't make excuses for who you are. Let other people choose if they want that or not. And also, again, this is the part where you're using your power for good, not evil. Use your power and look, you're a strong woman. Use it to discover your blockages and get whatever you need to bust through them. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. There's different courses, different experts, but do the work. Don't avoid it any longer. And once you do that, you can then use your power towards courage, to be vulnerable, to be contributed to, and to even brush off rejection the times it does show up. And then we have the fifth leap. So the fifth leap is when no one's looking, and only you can know this one. So when no one's watching, I want you to be the woman who's in love now. I want you to ensure you feel great about yourself. As I know it's maybe not possible 100% of the time, but generally that you feel great about yourself and that you're developing your character over and over. You're never done. That you're someone who keeps growing love for yourself and keeps growing love for people. And I want you to be proud of your living space, your eating habits, your grooming, whatever that means to you, of your social life, your character, your wardrobe, your life. And then finally, again, we don't know, only you know what's going on the inside. But it's important that, you do the work to forgive yourself. You do the work to forgive your past relationships or anything in your past, to forgive your parents. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of great places and a lot of great people that you can do this work with, right? So if you're going to put your attention on something, get her done. And why I say this is so important is I want you to align yourself. Because when you're aligned with yourself, then you can attract something that would be aligned with you. So if you're finding you're getting a lot of oh gosh, how come that's not what I'm looking for. That's not going to make me happy. I promise there's your life and you are not aligned right now. And then finally, there's the sixth leap, okay? And this one is so important. There's really, I would say the most important. And it's to leave no alternative. So check it out. Have you noticed, if you look in your life, that you are great at some things and you're terrible at others? Right? Check it out. You are, right? And given that you're here, your love life's probably one of those areas that you're terrible at. But so what? You're terrible at a few things. You're great at lots of things. And I want you to tell the truth, though, is being single or settling, settling for something you don't really want, is being single or settling still kind of an option for you? No alternative means creating something that leaves no room for quitting or settling. It leaves no room for talking yourself out of what's really important to you. So I want you to ask yourself, What do I have in my love life? What kind of relationship will that predictably get me? Probably some version of the same thing, right? Like a different version of the same. And do I want that? Do I want some version of the same thing? Am I okay with giving up or settling or pretending like later will sometime be, later will finally be the right time? Ask yourself, am I putting off resolving my baggage? Am I putting off resolving my emotional blocks or dealing with my walls that I know I've put up? And ask yourself, what kind of expert do I need? So now I want you to go back to that first list and read it all the way through. So that's your basics, your preferables, and your dream come true. And just look at it again. And I want you to ask yourself, what if it wasn't too good to be true? Like, what if? What would be possible if I had no alternative to reaching my dreams? Like it wasn't an option. Ask yourself, what if my love life were beyond my dreams? I remember saying to one of my coaches, I don't think I deserve this. This is too good to be true. And he said to me, well, I don't know. You deserve it or you don't. But if I were you, I'd take it. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. What if your love life were beyond your dreams? And here's what I want to leave you with. You can fall in love with the right person. You can. You can. That doesn't mean you will, but you absolutely can. And making it happen is not the way you picture it. It's totally within your reach, and it's not the way you picture it. I also want to leave you with, okay, look, you probably got baggage, but so what? You're a human being. Everybody does in different areas. So who cares? Deal with it. Because why you would deal with it is because a new mindset is what allows for new actions, like new actions you can't even see. And if you combine those new actions with a new mindset, it creates new results that you wouldn't even imagine. And you can have quality love quickly with the right support and expertise. So that's really ultimately what I want to leave you with here. Now, I know many of you, we skimmed over a lot in a short period of time, right? Some of you might be like, I don't know if I got everything down and can I write it or whatever, right? But many of you want to go deeper into a lot of what we covered. And that's what I'm offering you for free right now for attending this webinar and for making it all the way through to the end. Well done. So your free gift is a love discovery call, right? So this is a one-on-one phone call with me. And what we do is we take a deeper look at what you want. We'll examine the blockages and barriers that are getting in your way. We'll determine the access and the pathway for you personally. It's different for everybody, right? And really, no kidding, I recommend you take advantage of this because this conversation will change your whole life. Now, how do you do it? As you can imagine, I can only make so many spots available. So what you want to do is I would right now, if you're at a computer or on your phone, open up a browser and type in michellebaxo.com/apply. So for those of you that are with me over the phone, I'll spell it. It's MICHELLE, B as in Bob, AXO.com, COM/apply, APPLY. So it's michellebaxo.com/apply. And again, paint this all over your walls. Love yourself, love your life, fall in love. It's all I want for everybody. All three have a 3-for-3 kind of life. I look forward, those of you who do take advantage of the free gift, I look forward to connecting with you. And for everyone here, thank you for taking this hour committed to your life and to yourself and sharing it with me. I honor you. I respect you. I love you, and have an extraordinary night. Bye-bye.